Hey everyone, it's Les Solgrove, statewide housing analyst for Iowa Realtors with your September market housing stats. So let's jump right in. Now, no, you're not seeing things. This does say August of 2025. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is I wanted to start off with showing you the difference 1 month can make. Now, we all have kind of talked this last couple weeks, in fact, this past week at state convention, about how maybe August was really a slower month this year. And I just wanted to kind of contrast that with what we saw in September. So let's start off first here and focus on listing inventory, because that's basically the story this month. Is inventory is on the rise. So in August, we saw 4,102 new listings come on the market, and that was actually down from the same time a year ago. And we saw almost a 2% gain in August for condo townhome activity with new listings. But let's go ahead and fast forward now to September, and look at what we've seen here. Instead of seeing a decrease over the previous year, the month of September, we saw a 7.1% increase to 4,400 new homes coming onto the marketplace. And if you think back last year, this is about the time when mortgage interest rates really were dropping a lot. And, we're just starting to see mortgage interest rates drop this fall with the Federal Reserve. So I think we have some more room to move into the month of September and October, and possibly even into early November. We'll continue to see some new additional listings coming on the market. The condo townhome market there, you can see, is pretty much flat at 573, but still we've seen a good number of homes coming on the market, and we're going to kind of take a look at that here in a minute. So I just want to remind everybody, this is probably the most comprehensive and best graphic that you can see from Iowa Realtors, from our statewide stats. And what I love about this graphic is that you can drill down to single family residential, you can drill down to condo townhomes or just land, down by the county, or even actually down to as local as the city. And the default on this particular graphic is set to 13 months back. So this number over here to the right is going to compare the median sale price versus the same time last year. And for example, median sale price year over year is up 6.5%, but yet it's down about 2.5% over the past month. This tells us that the market is correcting this year. We're still ahead of last year, but we're starting to see the market correcting, and that's this downward trend right here. Now, this is somewhat normal that we'll see each year. We tend to come into the early fall, and we'll typically see prices drop just a little bit. But we're seeing this statewide that the pricing is coming down just a little bit on the sale prices. So home sellers are realizing and kind of figuring out now that we're not back in those COVID years. So let's come back down here to the bottom and focus on active inventory. We got 9,577 homes in the single family residential marketplace here, and that's been nothing but an upward trend this whole year. In fact, you can see we're up 14% year over year and 6.5% over the previous month. So keep this number 9,577 in mind as we switch now to the condo townhome inventory. And down here again, 1,834 homes is currently what we have on the market. So you add those two together, and we're currently sitting at almost 11,500 homes for sale. In the previous years, about this time, we would have been around 10,000, just under, maybe even under 10,000 last year at this time of the year. So we're kind of setting the stage for a good fall market. We're setting the stage as well for a good spring market next year. If these homes are not selling quite as fast this fall, we're going to have a good amount of inventory on the market as we move into the spring market and the over winter time market. So that's really a good thing there as well. So this is the graphic going back in time for single family homes for sale. The black line indicates where we were last year. So again, we're outpacing 2024 numbers here. And again, I have not revealed the September number. Remember, it was 9,577. And what's cool about this is, we're seeing pretty much since March, we've seen an increase in inventory, about the same difference between last year all the way through September. So if we were going to repeat this year, like what we saw last year, we could say that we probably are going to see inventory peak about October before it starts to go down. But remember, I said a second ago, I think the fact that the mortgage rates are starting to come down a little bit more, I think we're going to continue to see inventory rise at least through October and possibly into November before we see our downward turn for December. So same thing goes on the condo townhome side. It's not been quite as much of a increase year over year. It was earlier in the year, but we're kind of keeping up with where we were with 2024 as we get closer to November. But we're still pretty far ahead of last year at this point in time. So that's also a good sign, basically saying that there's all kinds of inventory out there waiting for home buyers. Another one of the graphics that's really, really very, very useful, and I think a lot of agents don't quite understand the power of this particular graphic. This is the statewide market statistics broken down by counties automatically. And up here on the upper right-hand corner, you can see September 2025. If you click on this little down arrow, you can go back not just 2 or 3 months, you can go back several years, so you can see maybe what was the inventory a year ago or 2 years ago. And it's very, very easy to do that. Down here on this left center side, you can see we're focusing right now on median sale prices for single family, but you can click down through these subcategories. And for example, if you wanted to see the number of closed sales for single family across the state, you'll see 2933. Now, whenever you see a blank county like this one right here, that would be Adams County. That means that there were no recorded sales in the county during that month. And some of these very small counties where they're not as populated, we'll see that on occasion. So if you see a blank, it's not an error in the system. It just means there were no sales. It's also set up in some sort of a heat map. So the lighter the blue we get on here, the higher the inventory levels are. So we closed 506 sales in Polk County, and 87 up here in the Sioux City area, 91 down in Council Bluffs area, and so forth. So these are really, really good graphics to kind of drill down on, and it gets even better than that. So let's take a look here, for example, at condo townhome new listings. And here's a good example. Most of the condo townhome listings that we see coming onto the market are more around a lot of the urban, suburban, metro areas here. So of course you've got Waterloo, Cedar Falls, Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, again over here to the Quad Cities and the Des Moines market. Occasionally we'll see some up here, like for example, up at the Iowa Great Lakes area, we'll see more condo townhomes up there as well, but predominantly those are in the larger markets here. One other thing that you can kind of drill down on, if you look down here across this bottom, this shows you the basically where the majority of these listings are. And one thing that a lot of agents don't realize on this either is you can basically bring your mouse down here and drag it across at any point. And when you drag it across, it focuses in a little bit closer. So you can see that Polk County, Lynn County, Johnson, Dallas, and Scott are really the leaders in the in this particular case, condo townhomes that were brought into the marketplace. And you can do the same thing over here on the year-over-year trending if you wanted to see that. So again, 556 is the total for the state, but if you come over here and you click and you drag over to the right, in this particular case, you're going to see this trending zoom in just a bit. And you can always just simply hit reset by hitting any of these little minus buttons, or if you hit all counties, if you're focusing in on a specific county, it'll take you down to that level. In fact, here's an example. You can click right on Polk County and it resets these graphics here, but it shows you then again just kind of the data just for that particular county. In this particular example, we're looking at condo new listings. So again, this is a very, very useful graphic. You can take it with you on your mobile device and log in through the Iowa Realtors, or if your local board has also got the graphics up, you can log in and show your clients kind of live views of what's going on in the marketplace. So we're going to go one more place here. We're going to look at end of month inventory because that's our topic this month, and we're going to focus basically on across this I-80 corridor. And, one of the things we talked about last week with several realtors around the state when they were in Des Moines was that the real estate market is different in everybody's local market. I talked to several agents in the rural markets who said that they were pretty heavily into a buyer's market, and then you get into the larger markets like the Des Moines and maybe the Cedar Rapids and Iowa City and Quad Cities area, and they were more into a seller's market still, or at the very least a balanced market. So we're going to look from west to east here, and we're going to look at 3 specific markets to end the show. First of all, over here, this is the Southwest Iowa market, which is Council Bluffs area, the central Des Moines market here, which includes about 6 counties, and then we'll end it over here with the Quad Cities. So you can see that you can actually drill down to, for example, Southwest Iowa's marketplace. And the key that we're going to look at here is, for example, the median sale price here at $240,500. So half the home sales during the month of September, for the month of September, were above that $240,500, and the other half were below that. That's an increase of 13.2% in that sale price rise. So prices in this particular market, if you remember, we were talking earlier about how overall the statewide market wasn't coming up in pricing that much, but this particular market has seen a pretty decent price increase of sale prices during the month of September. Also, closed sales were down just a little bit by 6.5%. So let's scoot over to the Des Moines market here. And you can see the median sale price is a little bit higher, but it's only gone up by 5.2%, not double digits. And our closed sale counts for the month of September actually are up a little bit for the single family. So again, seeing the differences in the different markets, and we're going to move over now to the Quad City market, and we'll kind of see that same thing. $182,250 is their median sale price. So we went, a pretty good difference there, from 200 and some to 300 and some, now down to $182,250 for the median sale price. And again, that's only up about 1.5%, and the closed sales at 0.5%, 1.5%, is basically flat. So again, as you're talking to realtors around the state, one realtor might say that their market is busy, or it might be that prices are rising. Others might be saying that the market is flat. And the whole key to this conversation is that every single local market is different, and it's going to have its own unique perspective. So one more thing on this particular graphic, and we'll show you this for Quad Cities. Up here in the upper left-hand or upper right-hand corner, we were comparing the same month prior to the prior year. So we're comparing September of this year to September of 2024. However, you can toggle this switch and see what it looks like for the prior month. And so if you recall, as we move into the fall market or the fall business time, we do start to see sale prices kind of come down. And we've seen that in the Quad Cities market month over month, down by about 15%. That doesn't mean that prices are falling. It just means that that's kind of the time of year that we start to see this slowdown. And other markets will see this slowdown for the seasonal slowdown at different points. And again, same thing with your closed sales. So again, this could actually even be totally flip-flopped if you were to drill down to the cities and maybe just looking at one specific city or one particular county out of the 5 counties in the Quad Cities. So really investigate what's going on in the marketplace there a little bit, and be sure and visit iowarealtors.com. I always tell you where the graphics are at. You go to iowarealtors.com, and at the very top up here, you see news and market stats, where my mouse is kind of moving up there. If you click on that, it'll take you right to this page. And from here, you can click on Iowa Statistics Infographic, which will give you that long, tall graphic that we were talking about earlier. And then also over here, you can look at the market review, which is another different view that we've kind of looked at here in the marketplace. So your resources are here for you. Please take advantage of these. If your local board is already displaying the graphics, they will be customized for your board, but you can also come back here to the state report and see everything from the state view as well. So, All right, gang, that's the show this month. We will be back again next month and talk a little bit about what happened in the month of October. I've got good feelings about what's going to happen. I think if interest rates continue to come down, I think we're going to see sales continue to rise, and maybe even sale prices might actually start to bubble up if homes become more affordable. We'll just kind of see what happens there. So, all right, we'll talk to you all again next month, and be safe out there. Enjoy the weather as it gets cooler. And we'll talk to you all again next month.